Hey, okay, so part two. So she would cry, and it was just a juggle trying to get her fed and trying to pump, and it took a lot of time. So I finally decided last Thursday that I was going to stop. It was a really hard decision to make. I prayed about it a lot, and I just felt that it was right, and I felt that it was time to be done, and it was time to de-stress. And so what was going through my head at this point, which was really hard, it was almost even harder. It was like jumping off a cliff. Like, you have to get through the crappy fall before you hit the ground type of thing. Like, I knew, like, so in through my mind, I felt like I was murdering my boobs is what it felt like allowing myself to dry up and to stop producing milk and to get engorged and to be sore. However long it took for my boobs to get the hint that they weren't to produce milk anymore was really hard, because that's what I felt like. I felt like I was slowly suffocating them. And I wanted to just be able to flip a switch and say, okay, boobs, you're done making milk. Flip the switch, you're done. But like, I knew, even though in my mind I made the decision, it was going to take days for my boobs to get the hint. And I had never just allowed myself to dry up like that, cold turkey. I did with my second daughter. I weaned her when she was 13 months old. And it wasn't, even though emotionally it was hard for me, physically I don't think it was that hard, because she wasn't drinking that much. I think she was only drinking once a day at that point. But this, like, I knew I was making a little more milk than that, and so I knew it was gonna be harder, and I didn't really know how to do it, but I just decided to cut off cold turkey. And so it was hard. I just felt very emotionally, like, I almost couldn't function. Like, I wanted to sit on the couch and just be comatose. I couldn't handle the waiting and what's gonna happen, and feeling just so bad that my boobs had been trying, like, I feel almost like they're their own living entity. Like, here you are trying so hard to make my baby milk, and it's not working, and I'm ready to reject the beautiful milk you're making. I don't know, it's really weird, but like, emotionally it's just been hard. Like, I wish my body could just do what it needs to do, and I'm pretty much just saying it's not, and I'm giving up, and I'm just ending that stage. And also I've been thinking a lot about, you know, I didn't ever get to nurse my baby, and so what a sad just a sad chapter that I didn't ever get to do with this baby. And so it makes me think about my next baby getting to nurse, and I'm not even ready to think about another baby. So anyway, the weaning process pretty much was a 3-day, I would say 3.5-day process, where I became really engorged and was just in a lot of pain and uncomfortable. I have to admit, I don't really have a problem with leaking, and so that wasn't a huge problem with me. I did wear a breast pad, because I think I leaked a little bit at night, but not a lot, and I think it was only out of one breast. I've never really leaked, even at my fullest being engorged. But it was really hard, and I would say by the 3rd day, the swelling went down a lot, and I felt a lot more comfortable. I could tell I still had milk, but it was more comfortable. It was definitely felt normal. And so on the 4th day, I had taken a shower. I'd gotten out of the shower. I dried myself off. Evelyn was crying, or started crying, and all of a sudden my left breast started leaking and started just dripping down my body. And I was shocked by it, because that has never really happened before like that. And it just made me so aware, like, Ariane, your boobs still have milk. After 4 days, your baby's crying, and your body still wants to feed your child. And I just had this, like, overwhelming sadness again that I had done this, and that I was killing my boobs, and that I didn't even know if I really was producing milk, but I knew there was still some in there. And I thought about it some more, and I debated it some more, and did some more research, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe no matter how hard this process is for me, of pumping and feeding my baby, and just how long it took and all of this, maybe no matter how hard that is, it's still better than not producing milk for my baby. And so I thought about it a lot, and finally I was like, you know what? I want to make this work. I want to try again. And so I was determined to start taking fenugreek and to start taking Reglan and to start pumping a lot and drinking a lot and just going full force into it. So I pumped and started to feel really good about my decision, and I pumped, and I was able to pump, I would say, an ounce total, which was good, but I knew that it was because I was kind of still a little bit engorged. And I started taking all the stuff again, and the Reglan made me feel really tired. And then I went and did some research on the symptoms. It made me really tired, and it made me really depressed. And that was one of the symptoms. Like, I felt a lot of anxiety. I could barely get off the couch, and I realized, like, this really debilitated me. And that was one of the reasons I was really struggling, because during the time where I was trying to wean, I was actually really happy. Like, in my head, even though it was hard to accept, I still felt happier. But the moment I made the decision to go back to pumping, I became extremely depressed again. It was like right back into the funk. And so the second time I pumped, I only pumped maybe 1/4 of an ounce. That was it. And then I realized, oh no, like 2 hours after the initial pump, I'm not making any milk. There was nothing to make. And after I did the research on the Reglan, and I started again thinking about how I was feeling and my depression and how am I going to function as a mom, how am I going to take care of my children, I made the decision again, no, this isn't working. Ariane, you're not even like, I wasn't even producing milk at that point. I think that was just the last of what was in my breasts, and then that was it. And so I made the decision again to go back to just allowing myself to be dry and going back to formula. And I stopped taking the Reglan, and I felt so much better. And so pretty much it's been a week, a little less than a week since that, since I've made any milk. Ever since that last pump that I did, I have had little to no milk. I haven't tried to express any milk, but I don't feel like I have anything in me. My boobs feel completely normal like they did before I was pregnant. And even though it was a really hard process getting to this point, I feel so much better. I feel like I have a lot more energy. I feel like I'm not bound to the couch. I'm not bound to a breast pump. I'm not guilting myself into why I can't feed my baby. I'm not having to watch the clock as much. Life is just in general better. And I'm not saying this because I want to give anybody, I don't know, I'm not saying this and at all trying to push anybody towards what I did, but I just know, like, the more I think about it and the more I try to be realistic, it wasn't working. I had tried everything to get her to latch. She would not latch. And so anyway, that was just kind of the decision that I've come to. And since then I have felt so much better. I feel more energy. I feel happier. I feel like myself. I mean, night and day from when I was on the Reglan. And so anyway, so far the formula seems to be working with her. I haven't noticed anything major. She's, you know, has her fussy periods. All babies do. I don't know that it's formula related. I do think she's more gassy than any of my other breastfed girls were. So that might be something to do with the formula. But it's been an interesting process. I've never formula fed any of my babies. I did a lot with, I was a nanny for a long time, and so I formula fed them, and so I understand, like, I've worked a lot with formula and fed a lot of babies formula, but never my own. And so this is just a different chapter, but honestly, I'm feeling good. The other good thing about it is I don't feel that I'm controlled by my food anymore. If I'm not hungry, I don't have to eat. If I don't want to eat, it doesn't matter. If I forget to drink, I mean, not obviously for my own health I have to, but I'm not feeling like, I'm not guilting myself because, oh, if you don't eat, you can't feed your baby, so you're not a good mom, and you gotta take care of your, like, I'm not feeling all that stress. It's just kind of off my shoulders, and I feel like I do have a better chance now of just losing weight. I can actually watch what I eat, and I can actually cut calories, and I can feel a little bit more freedom, and I really, really, really like that. So I don't know. Overall, I feel really good, even though it's been a really hard process. I feel like, considering what happened, I've had to just accept that I did as much as I could do, and I tried as hard as I could try. So anyway, that's my breastfeeding formula update. I know I need to do a postpartum update, and I know I need to do a baby Evelyn update. I will include some pictures at the end of this because I took some pictures of her in her baby blessing gown that my mom made for my first daughter. And so in our church, when babies are born, they don't get baptized. It looks like an infant baptismal gown. In our church, because I'm LDS, we don't baptize babies. We don't baptize them until they're 8 years old and they make the conscious choice to. But we do blessings for children where they get like a blessing and they get their name put on the church records and they wear like a white dress. And so that's what that is. And it was worn by both of my previous daughters and my mom made it. And so it's very special for me. I love this gown. It has a lot of just sweet sentiment. And so those are the pictures that I took. So I'll include some of those and I will hopefully do some more updates when I actually get like a real working camera. So anyways, thank you so much, ladies. I'll talk to you later. Bye.